Misapplied effort and the self-fulfilling prophecy. When I was younger, it never really resonated with me that you can give an honest effort and it will just blow up in your face. Goes terribly. Embarrassment follows, hurt, not a good scene. And you're less likely to try again because now you have confirmation. I tried, it didn't work. I'm not doing it again. It's just not for me. But was the effort misapplied? And I can tell you that if you have no guidance, if no one is showing you how to do something, if you're flying blind, so to speak, almost always the effort is misapplied. This happened to me with writing, where I already write in a very avant garde fashion. And I was not going to use any pre existing structures, nothing, no how to write books, none of that. I would write the way I wanted to. And eventually I came to see these things exist for a reason. They exist to help people. You don't need to try and reinvent the wheel. And that is often what I was trying to do in my life because I had no guidance and no one to show me. So I was only dependent on myself. All I need is me. I'm going to do it my way, and that's the end of it. This often leads to deeply misapplied efforts. And like I said, once you have tried and it fails, and you have to deal with the hurt and embarrassment, well, you are much less likely to try again. And now the prophecy has been fulfilled. And there's an old song where the guy had said, just don't say that it can't work because you didn't follow through, and pass that self-fulfilling prophecy off as proof. And that line always stuck with me because I knew it connected into my life somehow. I just didn't know how at the time. But I heard it and it always stayed with me. That's from the Kings of Nothing, by the way. But this is something that I think it's good for people to have in their mind, that effort can be misapplied, that you can try to do something, and if you are not doing it in an effective manner, then the effort is misapplied. All the time online, I will hear people mention dating, and I heard one guy say something like he had asked out like 500 women, and they all said no. Now, I find that highly questionable to begin with, but furthermore, I'm going to go out on a limb and say the guy gave an effort, but the effort was misapplied. And he was trying to do things in a way that was never going to work. And in his mind, he probably already had the idea that it is not going to work. That gives the self-fulfilling prophecy. It's not going to work. I don't believe it. I'm going to give an effort. It doesn't work. I now have confirmation that it doesn't work. I'm never going to try again. And the hardest part often is trying to do something you have already failed at, especially if you, like myself, have a life when no one is encouraging you, no one is guiding you, no one is showing you how to do things. In fact, people are kicking you when you're down, making fun of you. Anything, any weakness will be exploited. So you learn not to show anything. And come to find out, that is not the way most people live. I had no idea. But It did teach me that effort can be misapplied. I was always trying to reinvent the wheel. Even in life itself, with things like eating 3 to 5 meals a day at similar times, trying to sleep 8 hours a night, going to sleep at a similar time every day. These things are very effective. And I used to think it was just an old wives' tale. That's just some bullshit people made up. It doesn't really work. It really will improve the quality of life. Like, I used to think it didn't matter if I was clean or not. In fact, I would wear the same clothes for months on end. I was a very disturbed young man up until I was about 28. And even then, it's not like I was normal. But when I was especially young, I would go months without bathing. Now, I imagine that was like a residual trauma thing, from what I understand. Usually, if you have someone who is not like cleaning themselves in any way, usually that stems from trauma early in life. But the effort was misapplied with me. I was trying to be effective in life, but I was also trying to reinvent the wheel. And there was no guidance and no one showing me. Like I said, if no one is showing you, if no one with experience is showing you how to do something, the first couple times you do anything, the effort is almost always misapplied. It would be like walking onto the baseball diamond and just starting to hit home runs. It doesn't happen. You have to learn how to hold the bat. You have to learn how to stand. You have to learn how to hit the ball. Like, these are all things there's a learning curve on. And the first couple times you do anything, the effort is almost always misapplied. But once you try and something blows up in your face and it hurts, it then becomes the self fulfilling prophecy. I tried, it didn't work out. It's not for me. I'm not going to try again. That is a very bad attitude to have. Now, there are things that, occasionally just aren't meant for somebody. Like, your mind isn't set up for certain types of things. There are all kinds of things in my life where I learned play to your strengths. Don't do things you suck at. Do things you are already kind of good at. Now, there is a time to do things where you have an aversion to it, and for whatever reason, like me with this, I have an aversion to being on camera and being the center of attention. I do not want it. But I need to force myself to do these things, because breaking those type of molds of the self is often a good thing. Seeing it is possible for you to do those type of things. You know, I don't let misapplied effort and self-fulfilling prophecies ruin your life. That's the best I can tell you. If you tried, it didn't work out. See if there's anything you can learn. See if there's anything you can read. Any way you can find information that will be helpful. You know, take it for what it's worth, I guess.